Dr. Yua. And she's going to be talking about reimagining power from waiting for change to becoming it. Let's say that again. From waiting for change
to becoming it.
Please give her a round of applause as she comes up to give us a talk.
It's not easy. She's wearing double caps today.
And we can't get tired of hearing her. Continue clapping for her as she comes up. Continue clapping for her. Thank you so much, Dr. Yua, for the nuggets today. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. A little girl once went for a recitation somewhere in Iyaro, here in Benin City. And as she got off the stage in the children's rally, she looked up and she saw over 100 eyes staring at her, just like the ones that are staring at me right now. And suddenly, she was filled with fright. She started her recitation. Her voice began to quiver. Her hands began to shake. And tears rolled down her eyes so profusely that they drenched her dress. Interestingly, she didn't miss a word. She finished her recitation. She got down the stairs. As she was climbing, she got to the last rung of the stairs. Her mother reached out her hand to her, took her, grabbed her, and embraced her, and told her something so profound that changed her entire trajectory for the rest of her life. Her mother said to her, "Never be intimidated by the stares of people. Stand strong and change your world, impact your world." Years later, that girl has gone on to give different talks. She has stood before governors, vice presidents, leaders in different places. Not because she's not fearless, but because she finally realized that power doesn't just reside in titles or positions. Power resides within. That little girl is me, Osayuwamen Aladeselu. We live in a world where power is often misunderstood. We see it as something out there that only the privileged or the wealthy can access. But what if power is not something that we chase? What if power is something that we become? Working in communities, from rural development projects and national development projects, I've met people who had every reason to be fearless, to be powerless. But they led change in the smallest but most courageous ways. A single mother who will encourage other women to save 5,000 naira monthly in a livelihood group savings project. And from that money, they were able to start a thriving piggery business in Dover community. A young man who started an agriculture business got other beneficiaries like him to start an agriculture project. And they were able to have funds that even gave them extra income than the project that they were in. You see, all of this and more has made me realize that we can reimagine power by not waiting for it, but becoming it. The power to transform Benin lies in the ideas, the networks, and courage of you and I, ordinary residents doing extraordinary things. I believe that a city, and indeed the people who embody this kind of power, the power that transforms, have four things. I call them my pillars of transformation: social inclusion, empowerment, vulnerability with resilience, and faith with courage. Together, They not only show us how to reimagine power, but how to live it. The first pillar is social inclusion. True power doesn't isolate, it includes. And I've seen it in places where someone just creates space for others to come in, and that changed the entire system. Now, in development projects in rural areas, we normally have project management committees to manage a project. And usually, the leaders of those committees are men. It's somehow statutory. But in one community, a man stood up and said, "We need a mobilizer to lead this project. And I think this woman can do it." And they looked at him and said, "A woman?" And he said, "Yes." And he gave them 3 reasons. And they began to ponder on it. And so when it was time for the election, because we like it to be a participatory process where they elect their leaders, the woman emerged as the leader of that committee. That inspired other women to now see themselves as people who could lead. And other men said, this woman is doing well. Let's bring in more women into our space. In social development, we often talk about leaving no one behind. But inclusion is not just a policy statement. It's a mindset. It's about seeing value where the world sees vulnerability. It's about recognizing a woman in a village, a child with disability, an unemployed youth, not as problems to solve, but as partners in progress. When we begin to reimagine power through the lens of inclusion, we begin to understand that the strength of our society lies in how we lift others up, not how high we climb alone. Inclusion is not charity, it is strategy. The more inclusive your circle, the wider your impact. The second pillar is empowerment. That's located in power within. Real power is never meant to be hoarded. It's meant to be shared. Empowerment is about passing the torch to others, to help them see the light within themselves, to brighten it, and they will also help others see their light. You see, empowerment can also be training young people on technology. Every youth with a laptop and a vision can transcend borders. Okay, I know, not I know I'm saying a youth with a laptop and your mind is going somewhere. Not that place. I know this is Benin City. So not what you're thinking. What I'm talking about is why we are here, to reimagine and to reposition. I'm talking about training youths on technology to create digital solutions, such as fintech, to help to improve financial inclusion. That's what I'm talking about. Empowerment is about moving from potential to purpose, from noise to impact, and from spectators to shapers of tomorrow. The third pillar is one that we rarely associate with power, which is vulnerability with resilience. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is the birthplace of strength. Strength to be your authentic self. Strength to stand in your truth and know that you are not powerless, but purposeful if you choose to be. Have you had seasons where you had projects that stalled, or you had ideas that were dismissed, and then you questioned your own capacity? Have you? I've been there too. But every time that I've been honest with my fears, and I admitted that I didn't have everything all figured out, something happened. I grew. There was a project proposal I wrote at a point in time for a policy development. And just at the stage of implementation, the beginning, the funders called and said they couldn't continue with the project. It was as if the whole world turned black. What was happening? The project I thought would be unique has now ended before it even had a chance to start. My fears looked at me and laughed at me. You see, you're a failure. Your project has failed. At that moment, I had to stand in my authentic self and tell myself the truth that I was overwhelmed. I felt down. But I also stood there in my truth and said, I choose to be resilient. And the story will not end like this. And then I began to think about what the next stage was going to be like. And later they called me and said we're going to continue with the project. And that project continued. Resilience is that quiet decision to keep showing up, to learn, to rebuild, to rise again. If Benin is going to be the model city we're looking at, it must be one that has systems that don't just celebrate successes, but support restarts. Resilience is never about not falling. It's about rising differently each time. And when you build strength in the seemingly spot of your weakness, you demonstrate power. Power is not perfection. Power is persistence. And if you are here, you're a Nigerian, I dare say you are resilient. I believe that every Nigerian has the innate ability to be resilient. Because no matter what persists, we persist despite the situations that exist. My people, through it all, we are still standing. Vulnerability opens up your heart. Resilience strengthens the spirit. Together, they make us unbreakable. The fourth pillar is faith with courage. Faith is that conviction that even when the path seems uncertain, your purpose is not. Faith is that ability to believe that the storms do not last as long as the clear skies. And the anchor of your faith is the strength of your peace. There have been moments when everything around me whispered, impossible. And then someone within me says, keep going. Perhaps there's somebody here today or anybody here today, and you feel that you are in between what is and what could be. And you're just saying to yourself that you may not see rain, you may not feel the wind, but you know the valley will be filled with water. Faith is turning obstacles into opportunities, waiting into working, and working into becoming. Faith, when it meets courage, that is when belief meets bold action, transformation occurs. Reimagining power in Benin, in our city, is looking at a city where technology does not only connect devices, but connects destinies. When networks build power that creates, when youth networks become engines for enterprise, for service, for change, and when power is rightly understood, it leads to two outcomes. It leads to influence and impact. Influence is how your light reaches others. Impact is how your light transforms them. True influence is not about fame. It's about faithfulness. It's about the daily decision to use your position, your power, your place to change someone's life every day. Impact is the legacy you leave with people, even when you're with them or you've left. When people can say, because he or she stood, I believed I could too. That is the ultimate expression of power. Remember Mary Slessor, the woman who stopped the killing of twins in Nigeria? I'm sure there may be twins here. Or you are a pair of a twin, or one of the pair of a twin. Or you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that is a twin. Point gotten. That was impact. You see, while we're here, and I'm speaking to any young person here, and you feel that life is not measuring up, systems are not yielding, and your dreams are too far from where you are, I want you to remember this truth. You are not powerless. No, you're not. You are the answer to someone's prayer. You are the solution to someone's problem. You are the hope that somebody is waiting for. So don't wait for power. You already have it. Don't wait for permission. Your passion is permission enough. Don't wait for power and don't wait for change. Become change. So when you walk out of this room today, walk as someone who carries power. Power to include, to empower, to rise, to believe. Because when you become the change with the power you have, You don't just transform your world, you inspire others to reimagine theirs. Thank you.